Hello everyone, I am back at the shop and we found a power steering reservoir at the junkyard. Yes, so we went there the other day and we found an old Jeep Comanche with the 2.5 liter engine in it, and we took the power steering reservoir out of it and I think it's gonna work. So before I start to show you everything, a quick disclaimer. Right after we came back from the junkyard with the power steering reservoir from the Comanche, we started to work right away. So we modified the shroud, we modified the mounting bracket from the Comanche so that it could work on my Jeep. And yeah, I didn't have the video or the camera going, so yeah, you won't be able to see much of how we did everything, but I'm going to show you, well, the final results and everything we did. So let's do it. So this is the power steering reservoir from the Comanche, and as you can see, the bottom part is exactly the same as the one that was on my TJ. So the only difference beside the shape of the reservoir is how it's mounted to the Jeep. So on the Comanche, there was a bracket here. Actually, I'm going to show it to you, even if it's destroyed and modified. This is the final bracket that is using the top hole here on the reservoir, and you slide it in, and at the bottom here there is a slot where this lower bolt goes in, and then you put a nut in the back here, a nut at the top, and this is how it is attached to the reservoir. And then the whole unit assembly here is bolted to the body of the Jeep, right? Which is quite different mounting than what I have on my Jeep. So on my Jeep, the power steering reservoir would go and slide here on the shroud, and would be held in place on the shroud with a little Christmas tree. As you can see here in the back of the reservoir, there's this slot, or this like square hole, and you would slide the reservoir on two little tabs that were mounted on the side of the shroud here. So yeah, that's quite a different type of mounting system from both. So we had to come up with a way to mount it in my Jeep, to mount, the Comanche reservoir in my Jeep. So what we decided to do, after a lot of thought and trial and kind of looking what would be the best solution, we decided to keep the main part of the bracket, right, that was on the Comanche, the one that slides here, at the top and in the slot at the bottom, and then modify it so that we could install this whole unit here in a Jeep, right? So what we decided to do is to mount it on the shroud, just like it was before, but we had to make it work. So we kind of looked around, look at the space clearance that we had, and see how we could orient the whole assembly here, and see how we could attach it to the shroud. So this hole here, I think that's this one, or maybe it's this one, I don't know. One of them was the original one that had a little Christmas tree to hold the original power steering reservoir, right? So we drill another one just to make sure that the orientation that we picked would not change, and so that we had a little more sturdy mounting points here on the shroud at the top. And then the other thing that we decided to do is to put a little tab here at the bottom of the mounting bracket, and then come here on this vertical part here of the shroud, just to make the whole thing a little more sturdy. So let me show you how the bracket mounts first. So yep, again, this is the original bracket with our modified, oh, that's the other way around, with our modified mounting solution. So this bolt here, this little stud goes right there in the top hole, and then there will be another bolt that would go through this one, so that would and be secured here. And then at the bottom we had this tab coming off here and catch the hole that we drill on the side of the shroud. So what we had to do with the original bracket, we cut the 3 tabs that were used on the Comanche to mount in the reservoir in the Comanche. And those are the 3 tabs that we cut off. What we did for this one, we found like a bracket that we had laying around, and we bent it like almost, I think it's more than 90 degrees, just so that we could keep the reservoir kind of flat. And then we welded on the reservoir bracket here, like a little plug weld right there. And we also took another piece of the original bracket. So we cut this one off from the original bracket, and then what we did, so we drilled a hole here, I think a 1/4 inch hole, and we trimmed it. I think we did like 4 or 5 times just so that we could locate this tab here in the center of this bracket. And then after we had everything in place, we welded this tab on, and then drilled the hole to make sure it matches. So this is how the bracket looks like, and this is how the power steering reservoir would work. So same mounting as on the Comanche. I think this is the way it should go. Right, so this is it. Then we're gonna have to put a bolt here, another one here, make sure we tight everything. Most likely I'll be using some nylock nuts, make sure the vibration, my tank doesn't come apart. And not sure if you can see or not, but we have enough clearance here on the side for the not only for the hose here, but also for my inline filter that I want to put here, which is pretty big diameter. So made sure that we had room here, and then the other one underneath also has enough clearance to reach this hose here on the tube here coming out of the power steering pump. And because I am showing you everything afterwards, the tabs are gone. So we cut them off from the side of the shroud, and here they are. And then we made sure like this surface here was flat, so that we had a flat surface to mount the new bracket on. So yeah, there is no turning back anymore. And here also one thing that we made sure we did is make sure that the top of the reservoir was at the same level as the original one, and as you can see, it's pretty flat. Okay, now that I have a good mounting solution for my new power steering reservoir, what's next? Well, I'm going to wash the reservoir inside and out, then we will flush the whole system. When that's done, I will install the filter, the inline filter on the return line, then connect all the other hoses, fill up the reservoir, and well, yeah, give it a try, see if everything is okay. And when that's done and everything is running, I'm gonna go to the car wash and give the Jeep a good wash before we start working on the upgrades. And that is it for today. Time to go home. The sun is setting down here, so yeah, I gotta go. So thank you all for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer. Like I said, that was an after the fact video just to show you what I did. The only thing I can tell you is there was a lot of improvisation and custom fitting, but at least you know that you can use a Comanche power steering reservoir in your TJ if you have the 2.5 liter, of course. And now I'll stop rambling. So good night everyone, and I will see you in my next video. Cheers!